we have our first official update on the World Warrior program. If you're not familiar with the program, once again, we'll explain it to you a little bit here. It's all about the local events. We're having a series of monthly events over like 26 different regions all over the world, where players are going to be competing over several events to rack up points in order to qualify for a final top 8 bracket. And we just had our first round of events that we went through, and we're going to provide you the updates today of the current standings for these events. And the first event we had going down is over in Asia Southeast, in the Asia Sea region. We had the Versus Community Tournament throwing down with some electrifying Street Fighter V action. But, you know, it was a little unexpected because there's a name on that list that you might have expected to see and the results that we don't see there.
Oh, yes. And of course, you are talking about none other than my guy, Xian. But before I talk about my guy, Xian, I need to talk to some other guys, Brian. Just a little bit, just a little something right now. The World Warrior program, it rewards consistency, right, Brian? It's not just the one-off tournament where you got to just, you know, get your, I don't know what's allowed to, what wording I can use that's safe for families. Your Tengu stones. Get your Tengu stones up and win that one tournament. A lot of people not built for that. They ain't ready to pop the V-trigger or nothing like that. So, right now we have the World Warrior program. A lot of people been saying, oh man, like if it was about consistency like it used to be, I better not see nobody who complained about the one tournament format not qualify for Capcom Cup at this point over the course of what, 5 or 6 separate tournaments all of these months. There's no more excuses. There's not that much gambling first to 2 XYZ in the world. So it's beautiful that we finally have this program. Now, Brian, back to the point that you were making right there. Notice that a legend like Xian is not in this bracket, which is wild to think about, but it's because he has taken up the mantle as one of the tournament organizers. It's him and the guy named Ira or Ira. I've read it, not heard it out loud. Much all respect to him. But yeah, my man Xian is not only TOing it, he's also streaming the World Warrior events through his channel, you know, Xian. And he's also commentating, like this first event, him and Z actually commentating on the mic. So that's really dope to see that he actually, you know, stepped into a role like that, just like a Mina RD or something like that in DR, man, just putting on for his region. Now, speaking of the region that he's putting on for, don't get it twisted. They're also putting in the work themselves, and that's why we see the results that we see here. I want to make sure we put a good spotlight, especially on this top 3. And popularity-wise, it might actually go in reverse order, this top 3. We already know my guy Brandon, the Akuma player, very strong, had breakout performance at the Intel World Open with, of course, the Olympics and everything going on there. High-pressure situation, and he was able to put in a whole lot of work. Now you see here, he racks himself up a good amount of points. I want to say third place is 35 overall points. In second place, we had Lacuna. Now, this is the second time that we've seen a Falk player in recent. Actually, this is like the third Falk player, I would say. We've been seeing Pokey, not in CPT events, but just in general, just Pokey here in America. Now we're seeing here Lacuna. And we've also seen, of course, the Four Fields, the best Falk player in the world, qualifying for Capcom Cup yet again with Falk. So, man, it's dope to see that this character that's normally underrepresented now starting to get some shine. I do like some of the adjustments with the regular blast into the EX blast cancel. So definitely dope to see that second place there. And then in first place, none other than Captain Y takes it all. And that's an Akira player from over there. And even Xian said that was a surprising, on his stream, he said that was a surprising result and gave him a lot of credit and talked about how much stronger that he's gotten. So that just goes to show, man, like these events like this, the World Warrior is only going to keep on pushing people up and showing us the amazing talent in these regions. Yo, if you don't have the biggest name yet and you want to get out there to these sponsors, get to these fans or whatever, or you know, you want Capcom to see you try to get on these Street Fighter leagues or whatever it may be, get invited to things, make sure you are signing up for your local World Warrior programs and make a name for yourself. It's right there for you, free to enter, and you know, your opponent just might not be quite as free.
Absolutely. And like you said, this is not the time to have the surprise win, because the point spread, if we look at the overall point spread for this region currently, it's the same as the results as the first event in a 5 tournament series. Captain Y secured himself 50 points, falling right behind, 40 points for Lacuna C and 35 for Brandon. That is a very close, tight spread for everybody who has gotten points on the board at this point. So you know they're going to have to be going hard for every event from here on forward. So who knows? We'll see how Captain Y performs for the rest of this season. Hopefully he can keep up his performance and secure that top 1 spot, or at minimum top 8. You want to be making to that final bracket. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that momentum, or if, the rest of the community says, no, back to the old ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think you're hot right now? No, we're going to remind you. So we'll see what happens in the rest of the Asia Southeast region. But moving on, we also had Europe West, the Europe C block, doing it big on Saltmine League. Saltmine League is streaming a lot of these Europe qualifying events, doing all sorts of regions over there. And this one also had a bit of an interesting top 3, because we had Gecko with Kami taking first place over Takamura's Akuma. Looking at this bracket, the name that stands out the most is the Capcom Cup qualifier, the CPT competitor, Takamura, one of the most explosive and creative players of all time in the game.
Straight innovator.
Not, and he used Akuma, but he also rocked the Ken in the grand finals appearance against Gecko. And Garnett in third place, representing Fong. So definitely an interesting top 3 to see here. But that said, I think this was also another upset, right? Gecko, he was definitely a player who's been on the come up, entering the Saltmine League tournaments as of last season. He's always been doing like a top 60 and a top 8, always been representing strongly in these events. But to secure a win in the first World Warrior event like this, just like the Captain Y situation, you never know when that player who's been on the grind is going to have that breakout performance. And we have to see, is this going to set the tone for the rest of the events? Is he going to ride that momentum and keep that top spot? Or, is the rest of his scene going to be like, hey, wait a minute, we know how you are deep down. Yep. We know how you really get down, and we're going to remind you of your old bad habits. I'm really interested to see how these players are going to respond, especially Takamura. I'm always looking forward to what he comes up with next.
Man, the way that Gecko played against Takamura, like, there's this one moment specifically I want to show everyone. When Takamura's pressure him in the corner, he goes for like a crouch medium kick or something into demon flip, and my man Gecko actually goes for EX drill as soon as he hits the air, just deciding, yo, I'm going to spin a bar right now to just escape the corner, knowing I can't hit my opponent. And that was just so smart, and it's not something that I see a lot with Kami players as far as that specific interaction and just smart plays in general. So it was very refreshing to see. And even after he did that rare Kami player thing and actually thinking, my man goes and immediately anti-air DPs Takamura and anti-air DPs him again, like back to back. Takamura going for the old jump 2 times in a row switch up. He never think I'll do it again. Bam, bam, looked like he had a DP button. So Gecko is definitely looking very strong there. And the last region for us to look at is, of course, Oceania, which was run by Unga over there. And y'all already know who won, man. Come on, bruh. Let's not sit up here and play. You know what I'm saying? Arguably, second most handsome guy in the whole FGC outside of RobTV. Travis Styles. Man's Balrog just went through and smoked everyone. He only lost 1 game throughout the entire bracket. I do want to make sure we look at who got second and third in these spots. So BK Sama got second, and we had Somniac getting third place. So this region is very interesting. For one, of all these World Warrior programs that we're talking about, none of them have actually had their CPT event yet, at least at the time of this right now. So you have to understand, like Travis Styles, for example, I think that he's probably going to win their CPT event, which means even if he's in the first place up at that point, it's not going to matter. He's going to be off the list. Boom, kick him off. So people really right now could be fighting for second place to some degree. I'm not saying they are, because I know they're stronger than that, but I'm just saying Travis does dominate.
I was going to say, you shouldn't write him off so soon.
I'm not writing him off. It's early.
At this point, they might be hoping that Travis Styles wins via CPT so that they have something to compete for.
Because he's out the way.
In 2021, like you mentioned, he was one of the 2 qualifiers for Australia, and season finals he played against Panda, and it was a slaughter. Now, that said, there are some, like the top 3, top 8 are definitely a lot of favorites you would expect from this region, a lot of familiar names. Somniac, always good to see him doing work in this region. Another name I'm looking out for is Ghost Chips in 5th place. We just saw him come over to the US and doing work at Combo Breaker as well. I'm wondering who's going to step up and counter Travis at this point, because he's been so dominant for at least like a year and a half now, that I do wonder what the plan is. Now, like he said, they might just be praying that he wins CPT so they can breathe some fresh air for these fellow months. Get it out the way, because otherwise, if someone else wins CPT, that one guy's going to be like, ooh, best day of my life. Everyone else is like, how dare you?
Most hated person in the region.
How could you do this to us?
Bro.
But we'll see. There's an opportunity for someone to step it up. Like we mentioned with the point spread, it's the first event. He does not have a huge lead. No one has a huge lead right now. 50-40. Even if you got a 7th place, 20 points, you get a 4th place the next time. You tie a 1st place finisher, right? Yeah. I do expect Travis to keep racking up points. Top 1 or 2 finish almost every time is my prediction. We'll see how it goes. But, I hope no one loses steam because I want to see someone take him down finally. Even though, it's fellow Balrog main. I love to see him doing work, but I want to see him challenged. He makes it look too easy.
He does, man. And something else that's easy, Brian? Signing up for your own local World Warrior program. Make sure you guys head over to CapcomProTour.com so you can get more details on it, find the dates and everything. But of course, it is entirely free to enter, and you could actually be featured on No Nooch, putting in that work just like Travis Styles